Well, good morning, everybody. This is Dear Mama Sal on a overcast and cold feeling morning. And yet it's 5 degrees here in southern British Columbia, which would make it sort of 40, 41. Yeah, 41 in American. But it feels, and probably because we're about to get rain. So what I can feel is that dampness all around me. I had a really good night last night. My hockey team won big time. They should not have won. They were against the Bruins. And the Bruins, a really good team. And we were without our number one goaltender. He was injured. And then we were also without most of our top-ranked defense players were also missing with injury. And talk about the little team that could. Because with our stand-in goalie and our it makes me want to cry right now. With our stand-in goalie and our stand-in D, we battled unbelievable odds. I mean, you got to give. Part of me wants to cry a little bit for Boston Bruins because, boy, they tried so hard to beat us, and they should have done. But our team just never gave up. It was incredible. Who knew I was going to get emotional about the Canucks at this time in the morning? Anyway, but it was that impressive. It was just like, wow. So part of you goes, hey, maybe we should keep all the replacements, throw out the top talent. But you look at it, I don't know about the rest of you, but you look at it in reality. In reality, there are all sorts of guys who just got called up to play the bigs, as they call it, into the big league. They got, or the show, right? They got called up to play for the Canucks. And they probably weren't expecting that. And they get to dress in the colors, they get to be a Canuck, they get to get paid like a Canuck. Can you imagine how many parents how many hours, how many parents spent at the ice rink for this moment? And so I don't know why that always makes me so emotional when I watch these new kids come onto the ice. And there will never be a second first time, right? And so there's part of me that goes, if ever you want to know about what it takes to have a happy and successful life, think about what it takes to be a happy and successful hockey player. Well, I have to use that analogy just because you think about it. You have to spend your whole life practicing. You spend unbelievable hours, you and your family, getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning so you can be at the rink by 5 or whatever. Putting in that practice time, or getting up at 5 and whatever, it's early, I know. Put in that practice time before school, put in that practice time after school. You spend all those hours traveling to all the away games. I mean, for those of you who are hockey or soccer mums, you have my full admiration. And all the injuries, all the broken dreams. I had a friend whose son was really good at baseball, pitcher, really good. And then his arm went. And here he was already in, world class. And his arm went after all those years. it just wasn't to be. And how many stories do we know like that? So it's, you know, a lot of it is not just talent, it's luck. And it can be devastating. So you look at it and you go, are you prepared to put in that sort of dedication? Now, if I put in that sort of dedication to, I hate to say this, but to losing weight, do you understand? I'd be thin as a pole. I really would. If I put in that sort of dedication to tidying up my house, you know, I'd have a show home. But I think the question is, you know, what do you have to give up? Would I give up doing Dear Mama Sal for the sake of having a really tidy house? No. That's a no-brainer. So, so dedication is something that we might all want to have a look at as we're heading towards spring. Because I believe spring is, you know, spring cleaning and spring thinking and spring everything. Let's spring into action here. We're going to spring forward soon. For those of us who are caught up in the time change, the daylight savings time, we're going to be springing forward. So let us think about what it is that we want to do this year. What changes do we want to make? I mean, I'm not saying New Year's resolutions because they've come and gone, and if you're not still tracking them, you know, that's a no-brainer. But I do challenge you to ask yourself, what are you prepared to be dedicated about? Because these things don't happen by accident. You don't get to be a top player by accident. You don't get to be a top tennis player, a top anything by accident. I can always remember when I was a speaker, the thing that people said to me time and time again, after I'd finished speaking, you know, they come up to thank you, which is really nice of them. And it's very good for the ego, I recommend it, especially when you're in a room full of thousands of people. But you know, they come up to thank you. And I heard it so many times when people said to me, wow, I would love to be able to stand up in front of people and talk as easily as you do. Without any notes. That was the big thing. How do you do that without any notes? And my answer was always the same, which is try doing it for 20 years. You'll be amazed how easy you can make it look. You see, it wasn't that it's easy to stand up in front of a lot of people without notes and be able to deliver a speech. It's about professionalism. It's about knowing your material. It's about doing your research. It's about all the things that make you a professional, and in my case, a professional speaker. So it's not by chance. It's not, gosh, you know, I was born with, hello, I've got public speaking, you know, genes. I wanted to do this. Now, funnily enough, I didn't train to do it. I must admit that somewhere in there, I had the skill. Now, was I born with public speaking genes? Maybe, I don't think so, but maybe. Or was I just somebody who... Something happened when you put a microphone in my hand. Or in these days, you know, when you put me in a car. Somebody wrote to me recently and said, do you do all your vlogs in the car? No. But I do 4 a week. And if you want to know what that's like, can you imagine getting in a car every morning for 4 days a week and giving a 20-minute speech? And especially some mornings when you haven't the foggiest idea what to talk about. It's interesting. But this morning, I definitely wanted to talk about this whole business of it's not by chance. It's, the dedication is what makes the difference in our lives. Now, I was thinking about my dedication for going on vacation. As some of you know, I'm going on vacation in April. I haven't been on vacation for myself in a long time. When I say that, I've taken vacation time to go and speak somewhere or to go and do something or whatever. But I haven't actually taken, let's get on a flight and go somewhere and sit by a pool and relax type vacation in a long time. So, but it took dedication because intellectually I knew it was going to be a financial struggle. I was going to need to really budget this and do it well. And the funny thing is, I really did make a commitment to doing it. And every 2 weeks, whatever money I had left in my purse when it came to payday went into a tin. And then I started again with my, every 2 weeks I allow myself a certain amount of money. But instead of sort of holding whatever was left in my purse and having it as play money, it was going in the holiday fund. And then it took on some extra clients and took that money and put it away in the holiday fund. And so I really have planned this with great dedication. And I think I didn't want to, for example, say, okay, fine, I can do it all on my visa and then spend a lot of time trying to pay it off later. I wanted to make sure that I had the money before I started. So it's really been an exciting process because I think with still another month to go, or just about, actually 2 months, I already have saved up enough money. Yay. So my goal for March is to buy the ticket. And then I'm still going to keep saving the money because I might treat myself to a new outfit or something as well. At the same time. Exciting stuff. So my challenge to you is, what are you going to dedicate yourself to this year, or this week, or today? You see, dedication isn't about necessarily just a lifelong thing. For some people, they might dedicate themselves to God, for example, for a lifetime. Some of you have got married and you have dedicated to each other for a lifetime, hopefully. I always say anytime I adopt a dog, all right, one of the first things I do when I adopt a dog is to make sure I have somebody standing by to look after the dog in case anything happens to me. I think that's dedication, don't you? I know that in reality things can happen and something can happen to me, and I want to make sure the dog is looked after. So you look at life and you go, what are you dedicated to? Some of us are dedicated to going to work every day. And some of us are dedicated to our children. Having children is not what you might call a 5-minute little experience. I was thinking about Matthew and Christy with their beautiful little Sophia. And you go, boy, that's, 18 to 25 years of dedication and a lifelong dedication that has taken them on this path so far. And when you look at how beautiful little Sophia is, you go, wow, isn't that wonderful? And I was talking to those of you who know Jenny Ginger, and I was talking to her yesterday because just double checking, and she reckons she's still got a month to go. So, and she looks so much like she's going to pop any minute now that I just wanted to double check that I hadn't miscalculated the time. And that is dedication. And I think, you've got to look at all these things in our lives and go, for those of you who've decided to become YouTubers, you probably thought it was a lot easier than it is. And it's really a funny thing. When I say funny, but it amuses me how many people think that it's really easy to put a vlog up every day. And I think it was Leah who said the other day when we were on a broadcast, and because I had told her, it takes dedication. You have to live this to do it. You really do have to live it in a certain way. And I say put a blog up every day. There's some days that I don't, but then there are other days that I put up too. So it basically turns out to be about a vlog a day. And one of the things that you learn is it has to be a way of life. It's not a hobby that you do when you feel like it. It's a way of life. And you fit it into the rest of your day. And you have to sacrifice some things. In my case, housework apparently was sacrificed, which I apparently willingly gave up. So every now and then I get horrified. I actually got up this morning and swept the floor. I have, what do you call it? I have laminate floors in my bedroom. I have laminate floors throughout the house, but I had to sweep the floor next to my bed because I know this is going to sound gross, but I had leftover crunchies from the Oscar evening that had now made their way from from wherever onto the floor, and I think tortilla chips is what I was walking on, and I decided, no, that's enough. So I quickly swept the floor after then, and I think that's not bad considering it's Wednesday. So I wish you all renewed dedication to whatever it is you want to do. And if you want to be really good at anything, don't complain, don't be jealous, don't say, oh, I wish I had their life. Whoever that is, it might be an athlete or it might be a YouTuber or whatever. I wish I had their life. They're so lucky. Yeah, right. Luck be damned, people. They have put that many hours into it. They have sacrificed that many things to do it. They have practiced until they became good at it and made it look easy. They have literally multitasked their way. I think one of the things that always amazes me when I go to visit Benji and Judy, which I will be doing very soon, but whenever I go visit them, you never ever hear Judy say, oh, I've got to go and do a vlog now, or you never hear her say anything like that. You see, it's just part of her day. And then you will watch her sit in the living room watching the children, and she'll be editing. And she doesn't sort of say, is it okay if I edit while, no, she just, it's part of her life. And life goes on around her because that's what she's doing. She's editing. And for those of you who've done editing, you will know that editing a whole lot of clips takes, in a way, a lot more time than, for example, something I may do on the way to work, because really, in most cases, I will edit the front and the back end of it and leave whatever's in the middle. Unless I know I had a really bad blip somewhere. Which means I will then have to run through the whole thing to find where the blip was and edit it out. But most times, I don't. So you look at it, and every day she's editing that much footage. To end up with 20 minutes, half an hour footage, you've got to record twice that, nearly. I would say at least another half again. So, dedication, not luck. Seriously, I've got this truck that's just decided to park in the middle of nowhere. Go figure. Okay, everybody, have a dedicated day. If you're doing something you don't like, remind yourself you're doing it because you want to. And I know you're saying, I have to. No, you're doing it out of choice. You don't have to, really, when you think about it. You choose to. I don't have to do housework. I choose to every now and then. Because it gets embarrassing. I don't have to be a YouTuber, but I choose to. Have a good day. This is Dear Mama Self. Bye-bye for now.